definitely something I've referenced quite a lot is collecting pieces of data, pieces of information to help you personalize the customer journey and also engage with that customer. So that data has to live somewhere. And there's a few different options you have as a marketer. So one is the data warehouse, which is more of a company-wide solution for all data, whether that's transactions customers go through, but it can also be marketing leads and marketing opportunities, folks signing up on your website or signing up for emails. So that's definitely a really powerful tool to help you store all the data you need. And then also, if you're working with converted customers, be able to personalize messages with looking at their transaction website activity, if you have a mobile app or app activity. So having that kind of central repository can be extremely valuable. When you want to go that sort of next step in terms of personalization, and whether that means like, oh, it'd be great to incorporate transactional activity from customers. Or if you as a marketer wanted to perhaps go into a little bit more predictive signals, whether that means you wanted to engage customers who are likely to churn. If they were previously repeat customers and they've shown signs of churning. Those kinds of signals can be developed, particularly from data warehouse, from a data team or an engineering team, but getting that data back into sort of walled garden or the sort of ecosystem of a all-in-one CDP solution, like Adobe, for example, it can be a little bit more technically challenging. You just have to make sure you build out and maintain those integrations. So the kind of third solution would be what we like to call like a composable CDP, with where like GrowthLoop, where you're essentially, what GrowthLoop does is sit on top of your company data warehouse. So your data lives in your data warehouse. It doesn't leave your data warehouse. And we just sit on top to be able to connect your data and allow for our marketers to build out and segment the audiences, their customers, into these kind of segments or lists or buyer personas that we mentioned. And also be able to map out those customer journeys in terms of if you think of anything that you can record along that customer journey, whether it's in-store transaction, if you're a retail store, if it's a single game ticket sold, if you're a sports team, or if it's like an ebook downloaded on your website. If those interactions can be stored within your data warehouse, then we can surface those in GrowthLoop and kind of orchestrate your journey as well, your customer journey, where you're able to kind of fully set out not just those buyer personas, but also set those engagement point where you say, okay, like single game attended, key milestone, I want to be able to send a email after the game for that particular customer. So that's somewhere where you're able to leverage your own internal data, which is definitely a key tool. And then on the other side of that are those engagement tools. How are you actually interacting with your customers? And so, like we mentioned before, email is a really big one. And obviously with email, you have a number of email providers, like varieties of MailChimp, a SendGrid, to send those different types of emails that you want. And then, like we mentioned, in terms of acquisition channels, you can run the gamut between Google Ads and Facebook. And each of those tools have their own kind of ad manager type of interfaces. That can be something where it might be challenging you as a marketer you're kind of defining who are your target customers, you're defining that journey. Say you're using a CDP or a composable CDP, you're sending them all out, you're sending these campaigns out. The last really important tool, I think, is how do you kind of measure the effectiveness of all those campaigns? Because you are obviously spending company resources on your advertising budget and so forth. And the top question most marketing organizations have to answer is, how do we know this is effective? What's kind of our return on the investment here? And so that kind of, to me, goes back to your data warehouse, where if you are able to capture the conversions that you're actually landing in conjunction with the channels that you've been using, you're able to track this customer went to a Facebook ad and went to your website and ultimately purchased. That's the first step in terms of defining the cost side of things.